Hello everyone, IBreakGames here, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Today I'm going to show how to combine impulse responses together. Now, in order to do this, we're going to need a couple programs. You're going to need Izotope Ozone 5, which is the only thing that we really need from it is the match EQ function. I don't know of any other software that does this. If there is any other software that does this, go ahead and use it. That's really the only purpose that this has. Second piece of software we're going to need is Voxengo Deconvolver. The demo version of this does everything that we need it to do. The only thing is that if you need to convert more than 3 files, all you got to do is just close it and reopen it. So we're going to go ahead and open up Voxengo Deconvolver. We're going to go ahead and go to Test Tone Generate, 32-bit float, 44/100 sample rate, mono channel, duration 15 seconds. For the duration, longer is technically better, but 15 seconds has given me more than accurate results. After you generate it, you're going to go ahead and select it. I've already generated one. And then everything else we don't really need to worry too much about. Not yet, anyways. So, next thing is in our DAW, what we're going to want to do is we need a guitar track. So, that is what I'm going to do. This is coming out of the preamp of my Blackstar HT Studio 20. I have a tube screamer in front of it, and I have the overdrive on the Blackstar on. So we're going to go ahead and record how this sounds coming in, which for me it's going to sound pretty decent, but for you it's going to sound awful. Okay, so that's our sound. And like every other DI in from an amp, sounds awful. So what we're going to do is we are going to load up some impulse responses in order to make it sound pretty. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and go to here. Go ahead and load this in. So the next thing that we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and clone this because this is the method that I use to load in multiple impulse responses. I'm going to put one track in one channel, the other track in another channel. So when I go ahead and play this, I'm going to go ahead and turn down the volume so we don't blow our ears out. Plays in both channels. I can turn them up a tad. Now, using whatever software that you would like to load up impulse responses, I have two that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using this one that I have made out of my Blackstar HT Studio 20, and I'm going to use this one that I have made out of Master of Puppets using Izotope's Ozone Match EQ, and I took a lot of the highs out of it to get rid of a lot of the fizz. Now, here's how it sounds, each one individually. Now, neither of these really sound all that great on their own. So, Alright, that's about kind of where I like it. So, you know, play around with it a little bit till you have a sound that you kind of like. You know, something that you really enjoy. Now what we're going to do is we're going to load in Izotope Ozone 5. I'm going to go ahead and head over to the Snapshots tab. And we're going to load in our generated test tone. That was not what I wanted to do. Now, if we play this, the sweep is basically a frequency sweep. It's a sine wave that goes through every frequency between 0 and I don't even know how high. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start capture, and we're going to play just this plain sweep by itself. Once it finishes, go ahead and hit stop capture. I'm going to go ahead and extend the length of this just to make my life easier. And I'm going to clone this, and I'm going to run it into each individual channel. Now when I play this, I'm probably going to get a boatload of clipping. So I'm just going to pick a value to put these at. You're going to want both of these to be at the same value. You want them to be putting out the same amount of volume. Which, alright, that's about where I need it. Neither of them are really clipping. My overall volume levels aren't murderous. And in the end, that's really what's important. Just want to make sure that it's not clipping and that, you know, everything is all fine and dandy. So the next step, once we've done this, is to open up Izotope, and we're gonna capture this. Now, this should look significantly different than the original wave. All finished. As you can see, it's a little on the high side, which is okay. It's not enough to really cause any serious, or really to cause any sort of tone loss. So, I'm going to go to the matching tab, smooth down, amount, all the way up, match. We're going to go match from the original, which is snapshot 1, apply to, or sorry, snapshot 0, apply to snapshot 1. And this is going to give us our sound. When I go back and I play this, I'm going to play the original. I'm going to go ahead, turn this on, turn these ones off. As you can see, there's virtually zero difference in the sound. Now, at this point, everything is all set up. All that we need to do is we just need to make sure that Izotope does not clip when we run our sine waves through. So we can see it's not going to come anywhere near to clipping. So we can sort of pump up the volume of these waves. When going through Izotope, around -4 is generally where I have the best results. So we have that all set up. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off, and we're going to go ahead and export our file. Now, at this point, what we can do is we're going to run it through Voxengo Deconvolver. Now, for me, I have the issue that I am seemingly unable to export files out of Fruity Loops mono. So before you can use Voxengo Deconvolver, your file that you have generated has to be mono. So here's my tone. You can see that it's kind of, this pretty much represents the EQ curve. So I'm going to go ahead and split, mono, mono. Export, and I am going to throw it into tone mono. Alright. Now I can go into Voxengo Deconvolver. I can go to tone mon. We're going to have MP transform checked, normalize. I'm not going to be using a high and low cut because it already sounds how I want it to. If you want to use a high and low cut, around 100, between 50 and 100 for your low, between about 9,000 and 10,000 for your high. You can kind of experiment with that to see what you think sounds best. Basically, you want to have the high and low cut to kind of get rid of a lot of fizz and things like that. Now, the next step is we're going to go ahead and hit process. Make sure that your output depth is 32-bit, otherwise it's not going to sound right. Now, we had just generated our impulse response. So I'm going to go ahead and load up this right here. DC. No, this is not the right folder. ToneMon DC. This is the file that we've generated. I'm going to set my mix to 100% because I don't want to hear any of that crappy, sort of not nice sounding thing. Alrighty. I'm going to go ahead and load in our files. Just going to send this into the master. So there's the one that we've generated, and here is the one that we were working with before. Virtually no difference. And then here was the very, very original thing we were working on. So that was the first thing that we had. And so as you can clearly see, there is virtually zero difference in the sound. So now, this file right here is your combination of two 6 or 10 different impulse responses. You can do this exact same thing, not only to combine impulse responses, but also to pretty much master the sound of your guitar and throw it into a single file. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope this really has helped you out in creating better studio sounding guitar tones and whatnot. IBreakGames is out.